Rolling Stone top 100 albums of the 80s. A few things I want to say before I react to this. I haven't been uploading lately because I've been busy and with personal stuff. And this is not going to be a Rolling Stone reaction channel. It's just what I'm doing at the moment. And I'm just going to go through the ones I know. The ones I don't know shit about, I'll probably skip. Alright, starting at 100. I've never heard this. Artists United Against. I don't know. Number 99. Was Not Was. What Up Dog? I don't know what that is. Number 98. UB40. Labor of Love. Does that have Red Red Wine on it? That's really all I know from them. Graham Parker, Mona Lisa's sister. Culture Club. Color My Numbers. I have heard it before. I don't have it to show. It was alright. 95, John Cougar Mellencamp, Scarecrow. I don't have that album. I have I think the one he did after, the one with Cherry Bomb, Lonesome Jubilee. Number 94, New Order, Power, Corruption, and Lies. I unfortunately do not own this. I don't have any good excuse for not owning this. I have a Technique, and I also have a Republic. Luther Vandross, The Night I Fell in Love. Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever. I think my grandpa used to have this album. I haven't heard it. Lyle Lovett. All I know, I believe he's country, and I'm pretty sure Bloodhound Gang referenced him in Bad Touch because he said "love it" just like Lyle. And that's the first place I've heard of him was from that song. Sting, Nothing Like the Sun. I've not heard. I don't give a fuck about rock and roll, Sting declared. Aretha Franklin, Who's Zooming Who. Haven't heard. Jackson Browne, Lives in the Balance. Rolling Stones, Steel Wheels. I've not heard any of the 80s stuff other than Tattoo You. Bruce Springsteen, The River. I don't think I've heard that one. Neil Young, Freedom. I was walking in the free world on it. George Michael, Faith, I've heard. First one I could show. David Bowie, Let's Dance. I think, yeah, Modern Love, China Girl, Let's Dance are the best songs on there. The rest of it, I just thought was kind of, it was just kind of there. Squeeze, East Side Story, 82. I think Tempted's on here. That's all I heard off there. I've heard other Squeeze songs, but Tempted was the only one I've heard from that particular album. 81, Van Halen, 1984. I think that should be higher. I'm surprised it's that low. Susanna Vega, haven't heard. Steve Earle, haven't heard. Number 78, Robbie Robertson, self-titled. I think this is his debut. This is the only album of his I own. I have no idea. I know he's in the band, but I'm not even sure this is his debut, and I have no idea what he did after this. But this is pretty good, believe it or not. I was never big into the band. I don't dislike him, but then I'm not really into them. But I actually do like this quite a bit. favorite song is probably Sweet Fire of Love, which actually has Bono appearing on that song. That was before he forced his album on everyone's iPhone, which I luckily did not have an iPhone. Alright, number 77 is a Humanly Dare. Yeah, I think this is pretty underrated. There's better songs on here than Don't You Fucking Want Me. Alright. Public Image Limited, 2nd edition. This has Johnny Rotten from Sex Pistols. The only song I've heard from PIL is Rise. Cyndi Lauper, She's So Unusual. I believe this has Girls Just Want to Have Fun. This also has She Bop. Does this have Time After Time? Prince, Sign of the Times. I think I have crapped on Prince before on this channel. He's not terrible. I just think he's crazy overrated. I don't think he's as great as people say he is. I don't think he's God, like everyone says he is. Yeah, not a fan. Overrated as fuck. Don Henley, Building the Perfect Beast. It says Boys of Summer, I think. I don't know shit about Don Henley. Marshall Crenshaw, debut. Not debut. I don't even know if this is a debut. Self-titled, I guess. I have not heard this. I've seen this album cover everywhere. But maybe I should listen to it. Crowded House, their debut. I know this is their debut. At 71. Yeah. I unfortunately also do not own this. I own their follow-up, the one that has Better Be Home Soon, and I also own Together Alone, I think it is. It's one of, I think it came out in the 90s. This has Mean to Me, World Where You Live, Now We're Getting Somewhere, Something So Strong, and Don't Dream It's Over. Traveling Wilburys, the super group with a bunch of old farts. I'm kidding. I've not heard the whole album. I've heard End of the Line, and I've also heard Handle with Care is actually a pretty good song. I'm not gonna lie, in my head, I literally thought about attempting to do a Bob Dylan impression, but that'd probably go terrible, so I'm not going to do that. LL Cool J, Radio, I've not heard it. The Specials, debut at 68. I unfortunately do not own this. I haven't seen it out in the wild, but I'm pretty sure this came out in the tail end of the 70s. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, this came out October 19th, 1979. Rolling Stone fucked up on an 80's list by putting an album from 79 on here. Randy Newman, Trouble in Paradise. Don't know. Don't care either. Neville Brothers, Fio on the Bayou. Haven't heard. 10,000 Maniacs in My Tribe. Living Color, Vivid. This has Cult of Personality, I believe. That's all I know from that. Gang of Four, Entertainment. Did this also come out in 79? This has Damaged Goods on it. I know that song. Natural's not in it. Yeah, this came out September 25th, 1979. Maybe Rolling Stone's putting a bunch of 70s albums on here because the 80s was a shit decade in their eyes. But I do like what I've heard from this. Def Leppard, Pyromania, another band I've crapped on here. Yeah, they're pretty shit in my opinion. Most overplayed band on radio. It's like whenever I'm forced to hear the local radio station, they always play fucking Def Leppard. It's like they're trying to, and it's always when I'm in a bad mood as well. So it's like the radio station knows, and they're just doing it to piss me off, I feel like. What's this? Captain Beefheart. Doc at the radar station. I've heard a little bit of Captain Beefheart, and from what I've heard, it sounds like pretentious bullshit. Sue me in the comments, I don't care. Lou Reed, The Blue Mask, haven't heard. George Clinton, Computer Games. Various artists, I don't know. Pete Townsend, Empty Glass, haven't heard. Joy Division, Closer. Does it have Love Will Tear Us Apart on it? Not sure. John Fogerty, Center Field. Put Me in Coach. Talking Heads. Speaking at Tongues at 54. I first discovered this album because one of my middle school teachers used to play it in class, and my friends all fucking hated it. Especially my one friend, whenever he'd play, he's like, "What is this terrible music?" Well, but we were weird in middle school. John Hyatt, I don't fucking know. Dire Straits, I don't know. Brothers in Arms is all I know there. Run DMC, another band I've crapped on. They're not as bad as I said in the video. The reason why I was putting a bunch of stuff on there, because there's not a lot of stuff from the 80s I actively hate. A lot of it, I was going through the charts, and even the stuff I didn't hear, it was all like too bland to hate. So I just needed to fill up space on that list, basically. Even though it was probably a controversial pick. From the comments, I didn't get any bad feedback. Load more. Alright. I might have to do two-parter, yeah. Last 50 is gonna be two-parter. Alright, I wonder if there'll be some Five Finger Dick Punch on here. Even though they're not from the 80s, I still think they should be on here. Because who doesn't simp for Ivan Moody? Alright, part 2 coming soon.